Whoa! This is the Illusion reporting from somewhere on spaceship Earth. I'm in Terra Cruiser 3. It's Tuesday. We're heading down to the Venice skate park. I got Baby Al riding in the back. He's eating his pistachios. And it's been our Tuesday thing. It's like every Tuesday I got to go down and ride the skate park in spite of my back. Some days are good, some days are bad. But Tuesdays we go skate. So yesterday was the first day of like officially going out and trying to buy a car. Oh, dude. Talk about a scene, man. Jiminy crickets, dude. So, you know, if those who don't know, is Terra Cruiser 3 is about to have some sort of catastrophic failure. It's not an oil change issue. It's something's gone wrong with either the fuel pumps or the fuel injection or the filters. Any one of those in this car, it's not. So this is the thing. So I went to do the deal with the car, right? Found out how much this thing's worth on a trade-in. Dude, between 200 and 750 bucks, dude, is all the Terra Cruiser 3's worth on a trade-in, dude. And I get it, man. I put 90,000 miles on it in the last 3 years, so it's clocking in at 160,000 miles. It's got some issues. The dashboard instrument cluster doesn't work. Sounds pretty rough. Besides it's sputtering, it's got this new clunking going on in the engine. And then I had that list of problems with it, you know, the rack and pinion's about to go out, something's wrong with the axle, blah, blah, blah. So I'm going down to deal with the car issue, right? So I find a couple of these Nissan Frontiers with the crew cab, right? Because I got the kids, the whole thing. I want to do 4-wheel drive, dude, so I can get to some inaccessible places. Be able to maybe go to Mexico if I want, whatever, you know. So I go and the thing that I'm going in is I got my buddy Billy out in Pennsylvania, who's like a professional gunslinging special ops car salesman guy. He's been doing it for like 20 years. He loves it, quote unquote. I love negotiating. I'm like, good, bro, because I don't. So yesterday was the first day, and you got to understand, like, I've been in huge resistance to this operation. It's like in my life, it'll be it's the largest purchase I'm ever going to have made to this point, right? Of my budget, man, I'm trying to come in like, you know, I like 20 grand, but it's like, it looks like it's going to be about 25 all said and done. So, you know, keep my payments down to $350 a month over 6 years. Like, all right, I can play that game, right? I know it's radical. Just being on the hook for 6 years just seems crazy to me. But I'm doing this thing, right? Like, I'm in such resistance to it, and I'm like, all right, God needs me to have a bigger car so I can do God's work, right? Like, it's all got to be about that. It's not about me. It's like I'm realizing God wants me to go new places. I've been doing the Terra Cruiser 3 served me awesomely the last 3 years. Got me up and down this hill faithfully. Always starts, whatever. But my guy Billy's like, dude, you're crazy to put any money into the car, because that's basically, you can just pay off a car. Like, if you look at it, like, in order to get anything done on these cars, end up being a couple grand if it's like got real problems, man, which it does. So, I mean, that's just payments, right? So I go in, I check out this Nissan Frontier. It's perfect. The boards will fit in the back. You can get a camper shell and a lumber rack later. I'm doing the thing. My buddy Billy gives me the, like, how you inspect the car from like a used car. Well, I think I'm gonna make a whole video about that. So I do the whole thing. I go in there, man, and you have to, like, you guys will understand, like, I'm in a place of like no resistance. For me to show up and test drive a vehicle, I've already crossed a huge bridge, man. It's a character defect. I'm a cheapskate. Like everything I'm doing purchasing a car is contrary actions. But I'm getting a used car, like it's a 2016 with like 19,000 miles on it. So I'm taking, the depreciation's already occurred. I don't have to take that. So it's like my buddy's like, it's a good deal. It's market, the whole thing. So I go in, we find out what the Terra Cruiser's worth. And then my buddy Billy's negotiating the deal. He's trying to get like, another $500 off the price. They're not budging. And so they're checking the credit score, right? And I got like good credit, man. 743 it came out from the Equifax, whatever the heck it is. 743. But I haven't had credit that long. It only goes back 3 years. I'm like 100% pay on time guy, the whole thing. They're like, so they go in, and before we set a price, this is where it gets crazy with my buddy, the car salesman guy, dude, right? So I'm like, all right. And they ran my credit, which is, I get what they do, but then they went and tried to get me approved on a loan, but we hadn't set on the price. And they're like, well, you can't get approved on the loan because you haven't had credit that much. And well, you got to put 10% down. Now you have to understand, me digging into my mattress money, like, well, I'm not that wild about it. But I'm in a place of like, all right, I'm here. I'm not going to resist it. I'm allowing whatever to occur. You got to understand, man, me being making payments for 6 years, dude, spending, 25 or 30 grand at the end of the day is just like a radical concept, dude. I don't have the money, but I get how it works. I can, whatever, like I need to get out of this car before it blows up on me or breaks down or leaves me stranded somewhere. I want to go somewhere. And, so all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, wait, how about we call you later? Because I'm like, I don't know about putting the 2,500 down. I got to think about that one, right? So I leave, and my buddy Billy's been on conference call, dealing with this the whole time with me, right? And the car checks out. It's good to go. And then it's like, all right, I'll see you guys later. My buddy, I'm like, all right, because he's like, we're gonna walk on the $500 thing, and I'm not a negotiator. Like, I'm not a carpet salesman, dude. I'm just it says $21,995. Like, that's what I pay. And my buddy's like, no, that's not what we're doing here, dude. I'm gonna get you a deal. So he leaves, and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, leaving. I'm like, well, I'm late waiting on the thing. They said they're going to check my thing. And he's like, well, approved on a loan. We haven't agreed on a price yet, dude. Like, they can't do that. He's like, go call them back. He's like, no, in fact, give me their number, the finance guy's number. So I give him the number. He calls the dude. He's like, you got to call them because the guys like won't talk to me until you A-OK it. So I call them back, but now this is what gets into my wheelhouse of weirdness. So we leave a message with this guy, give him my phone number, no call back. It's like in a meeting. Yeah, right. No call back. And now I got to go to work and pick up my client and do my thing. So I call Billy back. I'm like, crickets, but I'm like working now. So now it's 5 hours later from when I left the message, right? I got my client in the car. This dude from the finance, the car company, calls me up and starts yelling at me. Who's this Billy guy? Blah, 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 blah. Screaming at me. I got it on speakerphone. My client's like sitting there like, whoa. And my client guy's like a finance guy, helping him get sober, right? So I'm like, why didn't you just call me back? He's like, who's Billy this? And you didn't leave it. And I go, dude, how else are you calling me back? But you got my number. And I go, you have the sales rep notes got my number. What do you mean you didn't call me back, dude? Like, don't start screaming at me about my my finance guy and didn't call me back. Like, why didn't you just call me back? That's what I was trying to call you about. I'm trying to buy a car from you, dude. And you're screaming at me, dude. I go, this isn't working. I'm not buying a car. He's like, we'll never sell you a car, blah, blah, blah. So now I call Billy back. And Billy's like, all right, dude, we got to call the sales rep guy and ask him if he's still going to give us the 500. I'm like, I don't want to deal with it. He's like, yeah, we got it, dude. So we call this dude back, the sales rep guy now. The finance guy was the guy screaming at him. We're like, what's up with this guy? And blah, 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 blah. Are we selling the car or not? And him and Billy get into this car salesman pitching. I got my client in the car. We got it on speakerphone. And they're doing battle, dude, like low frequency energy battle. But I know my buddy Billy, dude, he's laughing. But they're getting into it, dude, about this car thing because according to the way it works, these dudes kind of screwed with me by actually trying to get me approved for a loan before we agreed on a price, right? Because all of a sudden it goes into like a credit check thing and I'm getting emails from my FICA and blah, blah, blah. And, from the ones who watch my credit. And Billy and this dude gets the thing. But he gets all this crazy information from this guy, right? About what it says on my credit things. Cause he's like, tricking him into giving him this info. And we get done with that dude. And he's like, look, dude, I know you don't like that kind of energy. He's like, but we needed to find out what was written on these things because they'll get sent to you, but I need to know what it said, why your thing was getting declined. So the way it worked was they were going to approve a loan for me for $20,000, dude, but it was like, came out to be, they needed 10% down because it was over. And whatever, what I'm getting, so Billy found out what he didn't do. He's like, all right, dude. I go, look, I broke my cherry on this car salesman thing. So we'll find a car. He's like, we're going to find you a car. Don't sweat it. But my client I work with, we talk about what it is to be sober and battle with the self-talking mind. And I'm like, for me, the way I looked at my day was I saved $30,000. It was the plus column $30,000 in my book, dude. And I was like, dude, I was willing to buy the stupid car just to have the experience be over. Just to be like, all right, man, my buddy Billy says it's a good deal. We're going with it. Fine. I'll pry the $2,500 out of my pocket tomorrow, dude. But these guys treated me like an asshole. And I don't play that, right? My buddy Billy's like, it's all part of the game. And I'm like, nah, dude. I'm spending 30 grand and some dude's yelling at me that's a no deal. And he's like, don't worry, we're never going to buy a car from these assholes. Excuse the profanity. It's just was the business. But the point being is, it was radical, dude. It was a radical experience because, and then I got my buddy Billy explaining it to me and this and that. But you have to understand, for me to go, I am not that dude. I have never taken a loan out in my entire life. I have never, it's one of those things, dude. But it was this experience of oh my God, this car thing's dirty. Thank God I got my buddy who's just as crazy as all these guys. And he's like, look, and it was one of those things now I'm not afraid to go in and shop for a car like I was yesterday morning, right? Because I broke my cherry, so to speak. And I know what I'm doing, and I got through that phase of dialogue, and I'm like to Billy, it's not going to get any worse than that. He's like, no, dude, that was worst case scenario, dude. Those guys were idiots and bad vibe. Like what they were doing was slightly shady. I'm like, all right, man. So I don't really know what I'm going on, but the hottest is I'm such that kind of guy. I might not bother trying to go get into a new car now for another 6 months, dude. Like, those dudes blew it with their car. It's still sitting on their car lot. They should have called me back. If they had called me back and explained what was going on to me like a rational human being, I probably would have gone, and my sunglasses crooked, they are. I probably would have gone, oh, okay, I understand you now. But they do this, he's like, they're smoke and mirroring you, and they're not explaining what's going on. And they basically, when the thing declined, they just blew you off. And I'm like, dude, but I would have gone. And he's like, I know, dude, but you gotta, he's like, why I was hesitant about the whole car salesman thing is they treat you like a peasant, man, and as to be like abused. And I'm not that guy, dude. Because I was telling Billy, like, he's like, you gotta, and I go, you know what, I don't want to get into this energy thing, right? Like, he's like, you gotta, when we were like, we gotta call him back. He's like, no, you gotta, dude, because we need to find out some information and this and that. I go, look, man, this whole bad vibe thing and this like hassling, like, I'll go down and burn their car dealership to the ground. Like, I don't even play this arguing thing. Like, I'm cuckoo. That's why I gotta stay sober, bro. Like, I don't have middle gears, dude. I just like, don't worry about it. I got it covered, dude. So that was my Monday. So it was like a good Monday. It wasn't bad, but it was spiritually exhausting. I would tell you that much. So this video ran 17 minutes. Are you tired of it too? Like, so it's probably time to get out. More to come on the car thing for sure. Like, I'm deep in the game. But it's just the illusion. Don't forget to subscribe. I was looking at my facts and 56% of you guys aren't subscribing. And we got to get my algorithm up, dude. Not that I make any money on the thing. And I want to thank a dude named Lon. There's this guy, Lon, who the last, every month or so, he's been putting $10 into my PayPal account. Like that's how it's going to work now is, you know, YouTube's not doing anything by its us uploading, and I'm not one of those. I'm not an asker kind of guy, but you know what, man? Like, I've been putting my heart and soul into these videos, dude, and it's a thing I'm giving away for free, like on that level. And I appreciate everyone who's bought art and frames and t-shirts and hats and the whole thing. But it is our own weird loop. We got to keep going. And I really want to thank Lon out there, because when I see those small little donations, that means a lot to me, because I know what it takes as a cheapskate. I'll tell you the final thing on being a cheapskate. I rolled in to trade in the car and I looked at my gas gauge and I was like, dude, I just filled up the car yesterday, because I wasn't planning on doing it. I filled it up Sunday and I was like, dude, I don't want to trade in my car with a full tank of gas. That ain't right. You know what I mean? Like, so whatever. I'm not, just do whatever. But like, the one thing we can do, it's just good for morale, is like hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Big deal, dude. And that's the illusion. Almost 19 minutes into this video. I wonder if I'll even be able to upload it anytime soon.